what is this truly about? We have an obligation, no matter who we are, where we come from, what we believe in, to provide our kids with a better world than the one we were given, right? That's why we're doing this. The next speaker I'm going to introduce is a personal friend of mine. He came all the way here from Alberta. I call him the king because he absolutely is one. Everybody put your hands together for Pat King.
Can you hear me all the way in the back? I said, can you hear me all the way in the back? That's right, my name is Patrick King and I came all the way out from Alberta, but it has not been the first time I've been here. We've been here 2 years ago, as of today. It was our 2-year anniversary where Alberta got together as a province and drove a convoy of transport trucks all the way across this country to get this Canada back to being where it needed to be. Guess what happened? Nothing. We did all of that for nothing. Now they're telling us you gotta be good people, you gotta wear a mask, it's about a pandemic, but you can't go to work. Well, now we're getting hit again. And now everybody in this country is standing back, getting hit left and right. When are you gonna stop getting hit? When are you gonna actually push back? Standing out here protesting is one thing, but the only way to get shit done is to do it yourself.
Okay, perfect.
And that takes everybody in this country. And unfortunately, we are still a minority in this movement, but we are strong. It's going to take everybody's effort to do this. And I sit here today and I look at these buildings and I see what's out there. And I know 100% that these people are laughing at you. They're mocking you. They're sitting here looking at every single one of us going, ha ha ha, what are you going to do about it? That's the question that we need to start asking everybody is, what are we going to do about it? We've tried private prosecutions. We've tried the US NCA. We've attempted to bring in foreign governments to investigate our treasonous government. Nothing. We're on our own, folks. And until people realize that, we're not going to get anywhere. But unfortunately for me and some other patriots in Alberta, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to walk away from it and show you that we can do it on our own. Alberta's had enough, and it's not that we don't like you, but we're going to say goodbye. Because enough is enough, and every single other one of you in here should start thinking about doing the same thing and pushing your governments for the same thing. It's time for referendums. It's time for electoral reform.
Yes.
It's time for the people to actually have a voice, and if you're not going to do it, we'll do it ourselves. And under the law of the land, we can.
The law of the land.
Now for somebody else that
That's
I came
right.
out here with, I'm not alone. I flew somebody out with me from Alberta. And I want you to hear it from another perspective of how it is on the other side of the fence. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you retired Corporal Sean Arnston from the Princess Patricia's BPCLI. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Arnston.
Go, Sean!
Thanks for the great introduction here, Pat.
Closer!
Yeah, I
Closer!
flew out here from Alberta with Pat. I'm a veteran.
Closer!
Closer to the mic. Hey, how's that? All right. Yeah, I flew out here from Alberta. I'm a veteran. As soon as I got to town, I went to Beechwood Cemetery, visit a friend who gave his life in 2007. And it's a hard conversation to have and explain this situation that we fought for. And I'm not alone in those who have served overseas in the viewpoint that we all here have, that we are living under some fucking guise of tyranny. Our economy is being weakened and we are being put on our knees so that communism becomes a tempting treat. We got people being put inside camps where they're not even allowed to access their families. And it's the first time the Canadian government's been filed a lawsuit. a cease and desist order. So I know I'm not alone in this understanding that we are being led to communism and we are being led to UN agendas. And be no fool, it doesn't matter, conservative, liberal, NDP, they all sign on to the same agenda. It's a different form of bullshit.
Yeah.
So I don't, you agree, Pat said separation sentiment in Alberta is real. I grew up in Alberta, I'm a fourth generation veteran, but I grew up in Alberta. And I've never heard separation spoke of so much in the limited conversations you're allowed to have outside your homes. So when you got to look at that. We are a province sanctioned like Iraq was in the war. My dad fought to liberate the Kuwaitis. We are literally being put on our knees so that communism, like I said, is a tempting treat. And to a lot of youngsters, this is a tempting treat. Our children are being told this is essential and this isn't. Our children are being shown my government can tell me to do whatever I want and I will do it. They will comply. And that's fucking bullshit. These people work for us, man. They work for us.
The governments are supposed to uphold our rights, not take them away, right?
That's right.
Every one of them.
Unfortunately, Trudeau's dad changed our constitution in 1982 to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which has an immediate loophole in Section 1. Go figure, we used to be under the British North American Act of 1867. If you're a gun owner, look it up, you'll love it. I don't know what else to tell you. You're here, you understand it. We need to do something. I have friends who have died for this. Their life stopped at 24. That's 17 years ago. I think of the life I've lived since then and what they've missed, man. Do not forget what they gave you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing the support. And understand that separation's not a threat. It will be a referendum in 2 years. Equalization is already a referendum on municipal ballots in Alberta. And do not let CBC fool you. We want the fuck out of here.
Tom, thank you so much for your service. This is a man who fought for this country. He fought for your freedoms. He fought for the freedoms of your children, for education, for jobs. These men lost people. They lost their lives for this country. We deserve respect. They deserve respect. Every single Canadian should be out here showing these men respect. And it is so disheartening to me that he has to come here and remind you. For those of you who are not present on the Hill, we better see you rise. That's right. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. This country belongs to its people. And it's about time that we give this country back to its people. The next person I'm going to introduce has the ability to do that.
I got it.
He is a man who has the money and the means to tell the Crown to get off our land. Everybody, put your hands together. Rob Carbone.
Don't you think you should have figured that out?
Hey guys, I'm sorry, we just got a text message. Rob's wife, Josie, is suffering from ALS. She just had a wipeout at the hotel. So I'm sorry, but they got to rush her to the hospital. Literally just came out on a message. So our thoughts are with him. But I am going to encourage everybody to check out the Republican Party of Canada. He refuses to bow down to Elections Canada register because he refuses to swear an oath to the crown, because he believes it's time that somebody swears an oath to the people of this country. So please do check it out. I personally support the Republican Party of Canada because I support the Bill of Rights of Canada and I support the people.
That's right.
Recognition and declaration of rights and freedoms. I want everybody to listen very closely. The Constitution of Canada and the Charter can be infringed upon in certain aspects from this government, but the Bill of Rights cannot. And it doesn't matter what agency you work for. This bill was brought forth and passed by people. There is a difference between people and persons. When you get pulled over, what does an officer ask you? He says, do you have any identification on your person? Because you are not a people until you claim your sovereignty. The Bill of Rights was passed by people. And in our Constitution, it clearly states, no law shall supersede the will of the people. Are we persons or are we people?
People!
That's right. Listen closely.
You're people.
Section 1, it is hereby recognized and declared that in Canada there have existed and shall continue to exist without discrimination by reason of race, national origin, color, religion, or sex, the following human rights and fundamental freedoms, namely, Section A, the right of the individual to life, liberty, security of the person, enjoyment of property, and the right not to be deprived thereof except by the due process of law. Let me explain what that means. Unless you commit a crime, do what thou wilt. B, the right of the individual to equality before the law and the protection of the law. I, right now, am protesting. I am expressing my rights as written in the Bill of Rights. That is why I can hold this microphone in my hand, regardless of conditions. There is no one that can infringe upon it, for if they do, they're infringing upon the Bill of Rights. C, freedom of religion. D, freedom of speech. E, freedom of assembly and association. And freedom of the press. Our Deputy Prime Minister is the granddaughter of the man who is responsible for all the propaganda under Hitler. When she took office, there was a $600 million bailout paid to our mainstream media. And ever since then, they have been scripted. This is not a new method, folks. This is the same immortal vampire of fascism that has been haunting the free world since we have existed.
Yep.
Our kids, look at our children. 900 kids in North America in the last year have committed suicide under the age of 15. This is unacceptable.
Rise up! Rise up! Rise up!
These are our children. And if that's not enough, how shameful is it that your parents who have lived their lives working, doing whatever it takes to provide a life for you full of opportunity and freedom, are made to die alone behind a window. This is un-Canadian.
Enough is enough!
We will not take this anymore. We are of the right to retain and instruct counsel without delay. So why was I held for 29 hours in isolation by Toronto police. Of the remedy by way of habeas corpus for the determination of the validity of his detention and for his release of the detention is not lawful. Authorize a court, tribunal, commission, board, or other authority to compel a person to give evidence if he is denied counsel, protection against self-incrimination, or other constitutional safeguards. Deprive a person of the right to a fair hearing in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice for the determination of his rights and obligations. Deprive a person charged with a criminal offense of the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. When they arrested me in Toronto, they said they were arresting me for the possible repetition of a crime. Let me explain what that means, guys. That means that somebody within the Toronto Police Force thought they were psychic. And they were so afraid that I was going to come within either 10 meters of Dundas Square, 100 meters of Queen's Park, or I was going to hold a microphone in my hand, that they thought we should arrest her and lock her up for 29 hours with no food or water. Throw her into a wall a few times and see what happens. Try and scare her a little bit. Make an example of that young lady. Guess what, guys? I don't get deterred. I get determined.
That's right.
Deprive a person charged with a criminal offense of the right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty, according to law, in a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal, or the right to reasonable bail without just cause. They're not allowed to deprive a person of the right. Sorry. Un momento, por favor. I'm bilingual, by the way. Deprive a person of the right to the assistance of an interpreter in any proceedings in which he is involved, in which he is a party or a witness, before a court, commission, board, or other tribunal, if he does not understand or speak the language in which such proceedings are conducted. Go on to the internet and download the Canadian Bill of Rights. Learn them, recite them, memorize them, and enforce them. This is your protection. This is your rights. Teach your children the Bill of Rights. That is real education. That is what we need in this country. No more indoctrination. No more lies. No more nonsense. Every person is essential. Every job is essential. Every child's education is essential. Every life is essential.
Yes.
These are our streets. Those are our kids. These are our jobs. They work for us. We never consented to public health governing our lives.
No.
Say no, thank you.
No, thank you. Exactly.
The next speaker that I would like to introduce, I personally call her the Queen of Canada. She is such a wonderful woman. She has her own talk show. She's watched by millions of people. She's subscribed to by millions of people across Canada and the United States. It is my pleasure to introduce Miss Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Yeah.
Ottawa. I'm so cold that I'm shaking. Y'all know that you could move to British Columbia, right?
Okay,
it's only -5 there. Okay, no, I absolutely love being here in Ottawa. I've been here before, and I'm very grateful for all of you. I want you to know that there's something that must die in Canada, and that is fear and political correctness. And what we have done is we have allowed silence. We have allowed an approval addiction to stop us from speaking. We don't speak at work. We don't speak to our families because we don't want to have any kind of little bit of a problem. And what it's doing is silencing the truth. And if every one of us would talk to 10 people, they would talk to 10 people, and we would change a nation. We have got to start speaking what is true. On the way here today, I stopped at a coffee shop. The girl was so surprised to see somebody come into her small business that she had to put her mask on. I said, don't put your mask on for me, lady. And I'm not wearing one either. What was she gonna say? She had to serve me a coffee. And so I got my coffee. I said, how's business? She said it'd be a lot better if people were coming here. They're breaking the backs of small to medium-sized business. But don't you think that you're going to escape if you have a larger business. First they will come for them, and then they will come for you.
Rise up!
As I have been here today, I had a lady tell me that her husband did not get a pacemaker because of COVID lockdowns, and he died, and she is a single mother of 2 children. Why? Because of what they have done through the lockdowns. Nothing to do with COVID-19. As I was here today, a woman just told me that her neighbor's mother took the vaccination and went into a coma. 4 days later, she's dead. Over 600 people on the CDC website have died from taking the vaccine for COVID-19. 10,400 adverse effects. All of this is true. All of this can go on your Facebook, because I know something. You got to tell the truth or they're going to fact check you. And even when you tell the truth, they'll fact check you. But I'm here to say, you put this up on your Facebook, it's safe, because I'm telling you the truth. We cannot afford for our senior citizens. On my show the other day, I went through, and it actually brought me to tears, the number of people that are dying by taking COVID-19 vaccinations. I read 2 specific reports. These elderly citizens had already survived COVID-19, but they did not survive the vaccination. We have a problem. We have a problem. And we've got to be able to start telling everybody. Look what they did to Donald Trump because he spoke. They took him off of Twitter. Well, I'm still on Twitter, and I'm kind of offended. I was pretty sure that I'd get my picture taken down because, or my account taken down. I put a picture up of Trump and his beautiful wife Melania on a motorbike, and I said, "Is this allowed, Twitter?" And I'm still there. I mean, what do I have to do? And so, I'm here to tell you that you can stand up for your rights. There's some Polish people here. This lady in the crowd here, she got put into the slammer for a sign that she was carrying. And she was put in just like Kellyanne Wolf. And if there's a hero in the nation, it's Kellyanne, isn't it? Thank you for standing. I appreciate it. I'm not done yet. Okay. I know. I was already trying to talk to the cops. They look a little bit afraid. They back away when I'm walking. I don't know what it is. I look pretty strong. I work out. Okay, so I love the Polish people. There's somebody in the crowd here today. The Polish people are saying, this is what they did to us under communism. They took away their right to travel. They took away their care and their hospitalization. They took away their food. One of the people said here, it's coming. Food stamps are coming. What? Not if we can help it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why we're rising up. Does anybody have water? It is not this. Oh, okay. I don't know you. But
I promise I don't have COVID.
I'm not worried about COVID, sir. All right, we're good. Hang on.
Open up!
Barely touched it. Barely touched it. Okay. So there was a Polish guy. This is not a joke. So there was a Polish guy. He came into the Ontario airport, and I want to share with you this briefly before I finish, that because he's Polish, because he's lived through the communist regime in the past, he had a good idea of how to stand up. And I think we should take some lessons from some of our Polish people, our Romanian people, those who have faced it. So they told him at the airport he had to take a PCR test. He says, not on your freaking life. But he used a different word, okay? But I'm a Christian, so I try not to swear. I've been losing that battle lately. Anyways, so they said, you got to take the PCR. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. Then they said, you got to go to quarantine. He said, not on your life. I'm not going to quarantine. They got super mad. And so they walked off, they huffed and puffed, they gave him the stink eye, you know, they talked down to him, they were mean. And he said, I'm not going. And they came back, you gotta go to quarantine. He said, I want to go to jail.
Just like I said.
Just like you said. Yes. And he's not afraid of jail, he's Polish. He's gonna die or fight for his freedom. One or the other. Give me liberty or give me death.
It's yours.
So the cops got so mad because he wanted to go to jail, they huffed off again. They let him sit there for 2 hours. They came back. They said, go home. So that's all we need to do. Once in a lifetime, you might come to a place where you gotta stand up and fight.
Yes.
We didn't know we'd have to do that in Canada. I'm so sorry, I did not know that. 3 years ago, I lost my national job on television because I didn't think that they should tell little kids that they're gender fluid. I was one of the first people to face losing a job because I refused to be politically correct. I'm here to say that I am living my finest days. I don't have my cushy job and I don't have an expense account, but I have freedom and I can say anything that I want. And a conscience, sir. I have freedom and a conscience. And in the old days, there were 3 Hebrew boys and they were told to bow to the idol. And if they would not bow to the idol, they would have to face the furnace. And they politely said, Your Majesty, we will not bow. They faced the furnace. And when they were thrown into the furnace, the only thing that happened is the people that put them in the furnace, they died. And when they got out of that furnace, all of their shackles were off of them. They did not even smell like smoke. Everything that held them back was burned off of them. Maybe we gotta face a furnace, but it's worth it because when you get out of it, you're free, you're powerful, and you are unstoppable. So we say today. I close with this today. So we say to the Prime Minister of Canada, Your Majesty, we will not bow. God bless you.
There's a few people that I want to call out a thank you to. Somebody who couldn't be here with us today is a personal friend of mine, one of my best friends and my brothers, Dermot Pomeroy. He's from Rise Up Durham. And he also has a new organization and initiative called Open Up Your Business. Go to openupyourbusiness.ca and check it out. Yeah, big round of applause for Dermot Pomeroy. Couldn't be here, but bless his heart, he's here in spirit. Also, Norman Traversy. I know that he's here somewhere in the crowds. I know you guys are not looking out for him, really. You know, he is here, and bless his soul for everything that he's doing to fight for our freedoms. So the parliamentary security knows him well, so do Ottawa Police. And I'll have you know that he is the owner of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and I'll explain that another day. But, and that's not a joke. The next person I am going to invite up here to speak, I'm so proud to introduce. Everybody knows who Vlad Sobolev is. Now, Vlad is the founder of Hubs Over Masks, Hub Nation, and we are all essential.ca. He is my brother. I started off in this movement with him and Chris Sky of Mothers Against Distancing. And let me tell you, these boys have become more blood to me than my own brothers. They have fought for an entire year straight, relentlessly, without a break, for the freedoms of Canadians. Vlad couldn't be here with us today. He's in Vancouver fighting the fight over there, leading the marches every single Sunday. But we have a new leader for the Ontario chapter of House Over Masks. And I am so proud to introduce Hattie. Everybody, a big round of applause. This man has been active with us for months upon months. I'm proud to call him my brother. This is Hattie.
Hey, Kelly, thank you for the introduction. Ottawa, Canada! Let me hear your humanity! Are we here for freedom, yes or yes? Yes! That's right. Another group of people that I'm here for is those without a voice. So a big thing for me is the children. Especially lately with the rules that have been changed in schools, with mandatory masking in some places in Ontario all the way down to the age of kindergarten. We're talking about 4-year-old children that are going to be spending all day long in a mask. This is not okay. The schools try to make things right by talking about mask breaks. What does a child need a break for? They need the mask to be gone completely. Healthy people do not wear masks. If you look at the science, there has been no proof of asymptomatic transmission anywhere. Masks are ineffective and they are unsafe. We as humans are not supposed to sit in our own waste. These are face diapers. We need to breathe fresh air and expel our carbon dioxide, sorry. Science, right? So, for me, that's a great first step, is to take off the face panty and be a human being. Smile at your fellow brothers and sisters. Dare I say, hug a stranger. There is something that each and every one of us can do. It makes me deeply happy and gives me all the courage I need to see all of your faces out here of all ages standing shoulder to shoulder against tyranny. But protesting is not the only form of non-compliance. There are many things you can do. You can spread information. You can support those who are. You can talk to those close to you that will be willing to listen. Those are all forms of protesting. Those are all forms of non-compliance. Until we as adults stand up for the children, nothing will change. You put yourself in danger by standing up, but by not standing up, we are putting our children and grandchildren in even greater danger. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Rise up, Canada. Go back to your humanity. Go back to being a proper citizen and family member. Go back to connecting with God. Amen. 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 We are all here on earth at this moment in time for a reason. Look inwards and find that. Find what you are here for and start. Let's make today the start of the Great Awakening of Canada. Reach out to whoever you can and spread knowledge and awareness and spread love.
Yes. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. We can start that message of love right here and right now. I would like everybody to hug somebody in your vicinity and show them love. Human connection is what we need. Love is what we need. Each other is what we need. We have all that we need. Now let's band together and use our weapons.
Hattie from Hugs Over Masks, everybody. Speaking of the children, can I get our children to come up here?
Okay, and here we have Zoe and Bridget that are going to be talking a little bit. Are you guys representing? Let's go! They're representing the youth.
You got this.
Hi everyone.
Hey!
I'm Bridget, and we have all of our kids here. Well, they're not my kids, but they're my friends. I don't really have anything to say, but I do have a message. And well, I'm 15 years old, and in the last 43 weeks, every single weekend of my teenage years, I've had to protest for my freedoms, and it's unfortunate, and it's upsetting. And on top of that, we've had our lives taken away. We're not allowed to go to school. Okay, we have a right to education. Thank you. They've taken away our social lives. Kids are turning into glossed over things. They walk around, they look down, they can look at their phones, and that's about all. They're not humans anymore. They're not able to look at somebody, smile, say hi. When I walk down the street and I say hi to people that are walking by, they look at me like the neighborhood plague rat, and they swerve away, and they like to run onto the street because that's safer than walking next to me. So, we have to watch this happen. We're kids.
After you just said that, it makes me almost
Children. So we're telling you to listen to us, because you're not listening to the people. That's your job. You're not. So listen to the kids then. You're making us watch our friends kill themselves. You're making us watch our parents lose their livelihoods. They can't see the kids anymore. They can't have a house anymore. And you have to let us just be okay with that? That's our normal? It's encouraged? And you expect us to stand by with that? And especially because it's politically correct. Because, it's our job to be here, to coincide with everything, and to conform.
They all got golden tickets.
That's not what we're here. We're here with individuality. And we have to be listened to. This is a democracy. Woo! Woo! It's unfortunate, and I know that this is being heard. At least one person has heard it before, or they have, and then I can reach yet one person. So, student activity has, I believe, in the last 2020 has increased by 25%, ages 8 to 15.
So she's telling everybody that same thing everywhere she goes.
I just watched Ted actually.